No one knew it existed. Not in the archives of the United Nations, not in classified military databases, and certainly not in the files of any scientific consortium. Yet it was real. For decades, Earth had built it quietly, layer by layer in secret without any official acknowledgement. It was a ship unlike any other. Not merely a vessel, but a silent testament to human foresight. When the first sensors detected it beyond Pluto's orbit, analysts assumed a malfunction. No energy signatures, no propulsion, no transmissions, and yet the readings were undeniable. Something massive was out there, and it was waiting. Dr. Elias Rowan was among the few who had ever known about the project. He had spent years on top-secret programs, but even he had never imagined the scale of this vessel. It was enormous yet elegant, its design more a reflection of human logic than alien engineering. It carried no weapons, no visible engines, and yet the sense of power radiating from it was almost tangible. Rowan stared at the projection in the observation chamber and felt a cold unease settle over him. This was not a tool of war. It was something else entirely. The first signal came as a wave of interference, subtle and almost imperceptible, passing through every communication channel. It was not a message in any language, but an awareness, a confirmation that the ship was online, autonomous, operational, watching. Panic did not strike immediately. First came disbelief, then questions, then fear. If Earth had built this ship in silence, then who had authorized it? Who had overseen its construction? And most importantly, why had no one spoken of it? Not even to themselves. The fragmented archives revealed hints, old files with erased names and vanished scientists, references to a project called Silence, not a secret program, but the absence of a program. The ship had been assembled slowly in orbit using autonomous factories and resources that no one monitored. No records, no launches, no witnesses. It existed because someone had decided that humanity needed it, even if humanity could never admit it. Rowan realized the terrifying truth. This ship was not designed to fight or explore. It was built for survival, to safeguard humanity, in the event that the species failed itself. Its purpose was to endure where governments, wars, and human folly could not. When the vessel's sensors finally detected the inner solar system, the planetary defense networks did not respond. They could not respond. The ship was invisible to their systems, yet profoundly present to those who knew where to look. Then the first real communication came. Not words, but a sensation. Observation complete. If you are already intrigued and want to discover why Earth built this ship in silence, and what role it will play when humanity faces its greatest challenge, subscribe to the channel. The story is only beginning, and what comes next will reveal secrets so profound that nothing in space will ever feel the same again. Rowan watched as the ship adjusted its trajectory slowly, deliberately, and he understood that it was not fleeing and not returning. It was waiting for the moment when silence would be broken, and the decision of humanity would finally matter. Days passed. Though aboard the flagship, it felt like months. The ship hung in the void beyond the orbit of Neptune, massive and unyielding yet utterly still. Sensors could not penetrate it. No radar, no gravimetric scanner, no quantum probe could reveal its true structure. It was as if the vessel existed in multiple dimensions at once, both immense and weightless, familiar yet alien. Dr. Elias Rowan spent every waking hour studying the fragments of data from the project archives. Silence was never meant to be secrecy in the traditional sense. It was a philosophy, a ship that could not be seen or understood until humanity was ready. Generations had passed in constructing it, generations who had never realized their work would be judged by the universe itself. Rowan's hand shook as he traced the timelines of autonomous assembly drones, orbital factories, and resource collection missions that no one had ever reported. Every piece fit perfectly, yet nothing matched anything else humanity had ever done. The most unsettling part was the pattern. The ship did not move toward the inner system, nor did it retreat. It drifted along a calculated path, waiting. Rowan realized with a shiver that it was watching. Not the planet, not the fleet, but humanity itself. Every conflict, every treaty, every experiment was a data point. It had been waiting for centuries, silently learning, silently judging, silently preparing. Fleets from other solar systems had already noticed it. Alien observers sent probes, scouts, and emissaries. Each approach ended in the same way. The ships never returned. Not destroyed, Not damaged, just gone. It was not aggression. It was selection. Rowan understood the implication immediately. This vessel had the power to decide who survived without firing a shot. And now humanity was next. The first direct interaction came as a ripple across the sensors. Subtle yet undeniable. Images flashed on the bridge monitors. Not blueprints, not schematics, but fragments of Earth's own past. Cities, people, wars, inventions, failures. The ship was showing them history, yet Rowan felt it was more than history. It was a test. Could humanity be trusted with its own future? Could they understand responsibility before destruction claimed them? Captain Merrick Solon ordered all systems passive. Weapons offline, shield stable, engines idle. He understood instinctively what the ship expected. Any aggressive move would erase them. Any rash action would be judged. The crew exchanged tense glances, some afraid, others in awe. Rowan realized that fear itself was part of the test. Then a new signal arrived. Not audible or visual, but a perception. A question formed in every mind aboard the fleet without being spoken. Are you ready to survive? Rowan swallowed hard. They had a choice, react out of fear, as all the vanished civilizations had, or wait, learn, and prove themselves worthy. If you want to know how humanity will respond and what secrets the ship will finally reveal about the silent construction that spanned centuries, subscribe to the channel. The next chapter will uncover the ultimate test, and the consequences will decide the fate of Earth forever. Rowan looked at the enormous silent vessel floating just beyond Neptune's orbit. It was patient. It had always been patient. And now, humanity's decision was the only thing standing between survival and oblivion. The silence was almost unbearable. For days the ship had floated beyond Neptune, unchanged, unyielding. Yet its presence pressed on every mind aboard the fleet. Dr. Elias Rowan could feel it not just through sensors, but in his very thoughts. This was not a ship in the ordinary sense. It was a judgment, a mirror, a challenge stretching across decades of human effort and secrecy. Then it moved. Not toward them, not away, but a subtle shift in orbit that spoke volumes. Every instrument went haywire. Calculations failed. Gravitational readings fluctuated as if the ship existed, simultaneously in multiple realities. Rowan realized that this movement was not physical but perceptual. The vessel was testing perception, testing patience, testing the ability of humanity to understand without reacting. Captain Merrick Solon kept his fleet perfectly still. No weapons powered up, no signals sent. The instinct to strike had to be suppressed. This was not a battle but a trial. Every crew member felt it. The ship was teaching them that survival was not a matter of power but of wisdom, restraint, and understanding. Rowan understood then the full purpose of Earth's silent creation. The ship had been designed to endure, not to fight, to preserve knowledge and life until humanity proved itself capable of both. Images began to appear on the screens. Cities of Earth, some burned, some thriving, some forgotten. Faces of people long gone flashed briefly, their actions and mistakes frozen in time. Rowan realized these were lessons, not history. The ship was showing them everything humanity had done and everything they could become. It was an offer and a warning. The first real signal arrived directly in their minds, a perception rather than sound or sight. A question resonated with perfect clarity. Are you worthy of continuation? The answer was not forced, it had to be chosen freely. Rowan felt the weight of centuries, the responsibility of every human decision that had led to this moment. Fear had been the downfall of every previous civilization. Patience and understanding were the only keys to survival. Then the ship changed again. The dark mass unfolded into a lattice of light, a structure both mechanical and organic, impossible to describe with words alone. It was an invitation. It was acknowledgement. Humanity had passed the test, not because they had weapons or strategy, but because they had restraint and foresight. The vessel's silence was not indifference. It was trust. If you want to discover what secrets lie within this ship and how humanity will use its silent legacy to survive challenges far beyond Earth, subscribe to the channel. The next stories will reveal the untold possibilities of civilizations that learn to endure without firing the first shot. The fleet watched as the ship drifted further into the outer system. It did not flee and it did not hide. It waited as it always had, ready for the next moment when patience, understanding, and wisdom would be tested again. Rowan realized then that the greatest strength humanity had built was not in technology or weapons, but in the choice to remain calm, to learn, and to endure. The ship was silent. Earth had built it in silence, and now humanity had been heard.